Good afternoon, all of you. Today, I'll discuss about liver. What is liver? Uh, which type of organ, and where it's located. We will discuss about introduction, um, location, function, relation, nerve supply, blood supply, lymphatic drainage, and as well as clinical importance. We are going to start about liver. What is I'm assistant professor of is Department of Anatomy in NMCH Sasaram. Now I'll just start. I want to move slide. What is introduction? We are going to discuss about introduction. Greek term liver, in Greek term hyper, in adjective of hyper is called hepatic. Like when you correlate to the blood supply, there we can say hepatic artery. It is the largest gland of the body, occupying much of the right upper part of the abdominal cavity. It consists of both exocrine and endocrine parts. Either we can say heterocrine gland. It is a nature of a heterocrine gland. The liver perform a wide range of metabolic activity necessary for homeostasis, nutrition, and immune response. Now we can see in this diagram. This diagram how look like exact. We can see this is a how its exact location of the anatomy of the liver. This is the liver. Liver is the largest organ in the body, largest gland of the body. Now we can move and see, discuss about main function. It secretes wild and storage glycogen. It synthesizes the serum protein and lipid. Is detoxified blood from endogenous and exogenous substance. Example: toxin, drugs, alcohol that enter the circulation. It produces hematopoietic cell of all types during fetal life. Now we can move and see next slide. Now we are going to discuss about location, where it's located. We can say liver almost fully occupies the right hypochondrium. Obviously, we discuss about we already discussed previous class what is when we are started we was discuss about uh, regions of the abdominal regions. Yeah, either you call 9 region present is the abdomen. No, the right hypochondrium, upper part of the epigastrium, we can see this is a we'll try to see. I want to point at this region. This is a right hypochondrium region, and this one is a left hypochondrium region. Sorry, this is a left hypo, but in between, what is called, it is a epigastrium, upper part of the epigastrium, and part of the left hypochondrium up to the left lateral mid clavicular line. It extends apart under the rib cage as far as the fifth rib anteriorly on the right side below the right nipple and left fifth intercostal space. The sharp inferior border crosses the midline at the level of transpyloric plane at the level of L1 vertebra. Now we want to see in this diagram what it is location. Though we discussed already location where it's was located. Oh no, we are going to discuss about. We can see in this diagram. Okay, try to see what we discussed already. Everything is there now. Rib cage, we can see in rib under the rib cage cage fifth rib anteriorly on the right side and below the fifth intercostal space. We'll try to see. This one is a no sharp inferior border. One more is sharp inferior border. Now we plan to move and we plan to move and see. Yeah, shape, size, and color. No, we want to see shape, how it look like shape. The lever is wedge shaped and resemble a four-sided pyramid laid on one side with its base directed toward the right and apex directed toward the left. Color we are going to discuss about color. It is red brown in color. uh, no we can move and see weights. In males 1.4 to 1.8 kg. In the sense of female we can see 1.2 to 1.4 kg. In newborn 1 by 18th of the body weight. At birth time 150 gram. Proportional weight in adult 1 by 40 of the body weight. Means we can say like what your exact weight. 1 by 40 means you will try to like your weight is 70 kg. 70 kgs of the 140 of the body weight. Now we want to move uh, conclusion of the 1.4 and 1.8 kg, like that. Now we want to move and see external features. We will discuss about external features. The wedge shaped lever present two well defined surfaces, diaphragmatic and visceral. One well defined border is called the inferior border. Now we can see in this diagram. I'll just want to, but pointer is not working now. But we sorry, I'll just move. Yeah, now we can see what is a two surface and one border. We plan to see this is called the diaphragmatic surface, and under the diaphragmatic surface we can see we can see and visceral surface. No, and this is a one inferior border. You can say inferior border. This line is called the inferior border. We can see already, no problem. Inferior border. This is a visceral surface because under, because this is posteriorly. This anterior view is called the diaphragmatic surface. Now we can see. We want to see diaphragmatic. We are going to discuss about diaphragmatic surface. The dome shaped diaphragmatic surface include a smooth peritoneal area which faces superiorly, anteriorly, and to the right, and the rough bare area divide of the peritoneum which faces posteriorly. Uh, uh, the inferior vena cava is embedded in the deep sulcus in the left part of the bare area. In most cases, this sulcus is roofed by the fibrous tissue termed ligament of inferior vena cava, which may contain hepatic tissue, converting the sulcus into the tunnel. Now we have discussed about the peritoneal ligament are coronary, left hand, right triangular, and falciform ligament. We can see in this diagram. Now we can try to see. Yeah, this is a diaphragmatic surface of the liver. How look like exact? It is called dome shaped diaphragmatic surface. Yeah, include the smooth peritoneal area. So superiorly, this is superior area, this is anterior area, and the toward the right. And now we can see the peritoneal ligament, fibrous falciform ligament. This one is, and each side right and left triangular ligament and coronary ligament. Now we can see in this area, in this diagram, notch of the ligamentum teres hepatis, ligamentum teres hepatis. And we want to see fundus of gallbladder. Now we want move and see the visceral surface, inferior surface, relatively flat or concave. it is directed downward, backward, and to the left. It is separated in front from the diaphragmatic surface by the sharp inferior border, and behind from the diaphragm by the posterior layer of coronal ligament. We plan to see in this diagram this area is called the visceral surface. Because why it's called it is directed downward, backward, and to the left. We can see this area. This is directed downward, backward, and to the left. Obviously it is and what you can see in this one, this is lobe fissure of the ligamentum venosus, tubercle omental. And what we can say, this is a porta hepatis. Either you can branches of portal vein and hepatic artery we can see, and wild duct. Now is we can see gallbladder, caudate lobe, fissure of ligamentum teres hepatis. This is fissure of ligamentum venosa. This is very important ligament. It's true ligament. This is lobe, caudate lobe, and we can see this one is a inferior vena cava, and this is a very area of the liver. Now we want to discuss about the notable features on the visceral surface, fossa of gallbladder. Obviously we discussed already in this in this diagram. Fossa of the gallbladder, fissure of the ligamentum teres hepatis. We can see there is no problem. No? Porta hepatis we told about, we discussed. The visceral surface is covered by the peritoneum except at the fossa of for gallbladder and the porta hepatis. We can see no problem. No? Here we can try to see how peritoneum covering everything except two things. Fossa of gallbladder, obviously we can see, and this one is a porta hepatis. Everything is covered by the peritoneum. Now we want to move and we'll see in this diagram, but here I don't want to discuss more. Just I want to elaborate about brief about a diagram. What is this? This is a gallbladder, and this one is a ligamentum teres. This is a porta hepatis, and finally you can see this one inferior vena cava. Now we want to move and see inferior border. We already discussed about surfaces, diaphragmatic and visceral. Now we want to discuss about inferior border. The features of the inferior border are as follows. It separates the diaphragmatic surface from the visceral surface. It is rounded laterally, where it is separate the right lateral surface from the inferior surface. It is thin and sharp medially, where it separates the anterior surface from the inferior surface. It presents two notch for the ligamentum teres or interlobar notch. It is located just to be right of the median plane. Cystic notch, it is located about 5 cm to the right of the median plane and often correspond to the fundus of the gallbladder. Now we want to move and see lobe of the liver. Now we can discuss about lobe of liver. It is an anatomical lobe and physiological lobe. Now we will discuss about anatomical lobe. It's have two, right lobe and left lobe. And physiological lobe we will discuss about, this is quadrate lobe and caudate lobe. No, we can discuss about anterior lobe. On the diaphragmatic surface, in the sense of anterior view, the liver is divided into two lobes, right and left, by the attachment of the falciform ligament. Because we can see in this diagram, this is a falciform ligament. Falciform ligament separate the right lobe and left lobe. The right lobe, which form the base of the wedge-shaped liver, is approximately 6 times larger than the left lobe. Now we will try to see in this diagram. No? This is how bigger than left lobe. Right lobe 6 times bigger than left lobe. Now we want to discuss about next slide. On the visceral surface, the liver is divided into 4 lobes. in the sense of diaphragmatic already over we'll discuss we discussed about diaphragmatic surface. It has two lobe, right and left lobe. In the sense of visceral surface, yeah, either called in the on the visceral surface, the liver is divided into four lobes. Right lobe to right of the fossa for gallbladder, and left lobe to the left of the fissure for ligamentum teres and ligamentum venosum. The quadrate lobe between the fossa for gallbladder and the fissure of the ligamentum teres below the porta hepatis. Caudate lobe between the groove for the IVC. IVC means inferior vena cava, and the fissure of ligamentum venosum. Now we can see in this diagram. Just I use this one yellow color. This is a caudate lobe. It has diaphragmatic visceral surface have four lobe. This is a caudate lobe. This is a quadrate. Q for quadrate, C for caudate, and the L for right lobe and left lobe. We can see what right lobe having what fissure. This is a fossa for gallbladder. Now we can see this is ligamentum venosum and ligamentum teres, both fissure under the left lobe, and we can see the quadrate lobe between the fossa of gallbladder. This is gallbladder and ligamentum below the porta hepatis. This is called the porta hepatis. Now we want to move and see physiological lobe. This is very important. Physiological lobe, also called as functional lobe. We can say physiological also physiological aspect is called the functional aspect. Now we will discuss about physiological lobe, functional lobe, true lobe. Its naming represent the functional lobe and true lobe. This division of the liver into lobes is based on the intrahepatic distribution of branches of the bile duct, hepatic artery, and portal vein. The liver is divided into right and left physiological lobe by an imaginary sagittal plane line with the help of Cantley's plane. Other line called, you can say, no problem. On the posterior inferior surface, this plane passes through the fossa for gallbladder to the groove for the inferior vena cava. One note is there. Caudate lobe is equally shared between the right and left lobe. The anterosuperior surface, this plane passes from the inferior vena cava to the cystic notch, present a little to the right of the falciform ligament. The physiological right and left lobe are approximately equal in size. Now we can move and see in this diagram. This line, this one red color line pass through the sense of porta hepatic. Upper part is inferior vena cava, cross between the femur, in below its crosses by fossa for gallbladder. This is called the Cantley's line, either plane. Now we can see in the diaphragmatic surface, this is a plane for demarcation between right and left true lobes. This is true lobe of the liver. Now we can see plane of the demarcation between right and left true lobe. Yes. Now we want to move and see hepatic segment of the liver. This is very important for surgical aspect. Now we want to know about we can say this is very important of the segment of the liver. There are 8 hepatic segments. They are deduced as follow. The right physiological lobe is divided into anterior and posterior part, and the left physiological lobe into medial and lateral part. It is very, very, very important, sir. I think so. Let's remember. We'll try to remember lungs. Okay, for everyone, just each of this part is further divided into upper and lower parts and form eight surgically resectable hepatic segment. The veins surrounding the hepatic segment are intersegmental, that is, they drain more than one segment. Now we can see in this diagram this right lobe, left lobe, anterosuperior surface of liver, two physiological lobe of the liver, two in number. When we are plan to discuss about right lobe physiologically divided into anterior and posterior. We can see this is a anterior and posterior, and one more we will discuss about left lobe. Left lobe divided by medial and lateral. Obviously we can see, and our when we want to see this one, this is anterior and posterior. Anterior and posterior segment also are divided by each half, like one horizontal line, and we got four lobe. Now we can see in the anterior, superior, posterior, and anterior superior and anterior inferior. Obviously we when superior and inferior, two superior and inferior, for anteriorly, two superior and inferior for posteriorly. And now we can see in this diagram, this is a wait, just yeah, this one. Yeah, we can see medial and lateral. You will try to cut this one horizontally and get you plan to get four views, four lobe, that is lateral superior, lateral inferior, and medial superior and medial inferior. It's all things related to the hepatic segment. Hepatic segment, why it is important? Because of hepatic artery and hepatic vein, and we can see one more is hepatic duct, how crosses under the lobes. We want to discuss about Quinaud's segment. According to nomenclature of the Quinauds, the hepatic segment are numbered 1 to 8. 1 to 4 is the left hemilever, and 5th to 7th, 8th is in the right hemilever. According to this nomenclature, the segment 1 correspond to the caudate lobe and segment 4 correspond to the caudate lobe. We will plan to see in this diagram. This diagram is very clear for Quinaud's segment. Now we can see in this view. We will try to see that is inside quadrate lobe and caudate lobe. One under the this visceral surface, we can see. We'll try to see one first segment, and second segment we can see in this diagram. Third, fourth, 1 and 4b. For 1 and 4b we will discuss about later. Segment 1 to 4 of the left lobe are supplied by the left branch of hepatic artery. 1 to 4 we can see this one. 1 to 4 left lobe of the supplied by the left branch of hepatic artery, left branch of portal vein, and the drained by the left hepatic duct. No, that segment 5 2, this is a 5th, 6, 7. We try to see 6, 7, 8. 5th to 8 for right lobe are supplied by the right hepatic artery, right branch of portal vein, and the drained by the right hepatic duct. We all our this is very important for our surgeon. We want to become surgeon, then we focus on this Quinaud's segment. Okay, now let's start about peritoneal relation. Most of the liver is covered by the peritoneum. The areas which are not covered by the peritoneum are bare area of liver. It is a triangular area on the posterior aspect of the right lobe. Fossa for gallbladder on the inferior surface of liver between the right and quadrate lobe. Groove for inferior vena cava on the posterior surface of the right lobe of the liver. Groove for the ligamentum venosum. Porta hepatic. Peritoneal, every aspect should be covered by peritoneum, but some area, except some area, bare area of liver, fossa of gallbladder, groove for inferior vena cava, groove for ligamentum venosus, porta hepatic is not covering under the peritoneum. No, we want to move and see next slide. Ligament. We can discuss about ligaments. False ligament are actually peritoneal folds and include falciform ligament, coronary ligament, right triangular ligament, left triangular ligament, lesser omentum. These are belong to false ligament. True ligament are actually the remnant fetal structure and included ligament teres hepatic, ligamentum venosus. Ligamentum teres hepatis. It's it's a obliterate of the umbilicus area. No, we will want to discuss about ligament relation. What is relation? Where is related to the diaphragmatic surface or diaphragmatic surface? Under the diaphragmatic surface, superior surface and anterior surface, right lateral surface, and we can't want to see posterior surface. No, we will discuss about superior surface of diaphragmatic surface. The convex right and left part of this surface fit into the corresponding domes of the diaphragm. We separate them from the corresponding lung and pleura, and the central depressed area of this surface is related to the central tendon of the diaphragm, which separates it from the pericardium of the heart. Hence, this area is often termed cardiac impression. Anterior surface, the forward process and anterior abdominal wall in the median plane and the diaphragm. On each side, the falciform ligament is attached to this surface is lateral to the right of the median plane. Right lateral surface, diaphragm opposite 7 to 11th rib in the mid axillary line. Now we want to discuss about posterior surface. We are going to discuss about posterior surface. This surface present bare area of the liver, groove for IVC, caudate lobe, fissure of ligamentum venosum, posterior surface of the left lobe. This bare area of the liver is triangular area to the right of the groove or the inferior vena cava between the two layers of coronary and right triangular ligament. It is a tight contact with the diaphragm. The right suprarenal gland is related to the infero-medial part of this area, that is near the groove for inferior vena cava. The groove for inferior vena cava, as the name indicate, lodge the inferior vena cava. The caudate lobe is related to the superior recess of the lesser sac esophagus, just to the left of the upper part of the fissure for ligamentum venosum, and cause esophageal impression. Fundus of the stomach is related just the left of the esophageal impression. Now we want to move visceral. We can discuss about visceral surface, inferior surface, also called as inferior surface. The inferior surface of the left lobe is related to the stomach, which produces a gastric impression. Near the left side of the fissure of ligamentum venosum, surface present a slight slivation that comes in contact with the lesser omentum. Hence, it is called tuber omental, omental tuberosity. The caudate lobe is related to the pyloric end of the stomach and the first part of the duodenum. Fossa of gallbladder occupied by the gallbladder with its cystic duct. The right colic plexus is related to the inferior surface of the right of the gallbladder colic impression. The junction of the first and second part of the duodenum related to the right upper part of the fossa for gallbladder produce the duodenal impression. The right kidney is related to the inferior surface posterior to the colic impression and to the right and the right of the duodenal impression and cause renal impression. Now we want to move. We can see in this diagram. This is very easy represent everything, like where we discuss about all things, like when we want to discuss about esophageal impression. We can see how esophageal impression where it's located, and this area is called the gastric impression. This is a tuber omental. This is a pyloric impression because the pylorus part of the stomach, here it lodges. This is a gallbladder. We already seen this is a duodenal impression. Sorry for we can see in this diagram. This is a duodenal impression. This for colic impression. This for right renal impression, for kidney, and this one air area of the liver. It is not, nothing is present in the this area. And this is the right suprarenal impression. Why it called? This is related to the right kidney. Above the right kidney, what we can see? This is called the suprarenal gland. Supra gland lies here, over here, because it called the right suprarenal impression. Now we want to discuss, see in this diagram. This is a relation of the diaphragmatic and visceral surface of the liver. Diaphragmatic surface, parietal surface, superior surface with diaphragm intervening, a relation related to the corresponding lung and pleura on either side, and as well as pericardium and heart in the center. Anterior surface is related to the xiphoid process, anterior abdominal wall. Right lateral surface with diaphragm intervening, it's related to the lungs and pleura in the upper one third. Costodiaphragmatic diaphragmatic races in the middle one third. 10th element is the lower one third. Now we are going to see posterior surface with the peritoneum intervening, and with peritoneum not intervening. With peritoneum intervening, we can see abdominal part of the esophagus, right suprarenal gland, and with peritoneum not intervening, inferior vena cava. Now we will discuss. We can say discuss about visceral surface, also called as inferior surface, with peritoneum intervening, with peritoneum not intervening. With peritoneum intervening, stomach, duodenum, right colic plexus, right kidney, gallbladder. We want to move and see blood supply. We can discuss about blood supply. Liver is a highly vascular. This is arterial supply. This liver is a highly vascular organ. It receives blood from two sources. The arterial blood oxygenate is supplied by the hepatic artery, and the venous blood rich in nutrients. The nutrients is supplied by the portal vein. Through the liver, about 80% of this is delivered through the portal vein, and 20% are delivered through the hepatic artery. Now we will discuss about we can discuss about most of the venous drainage. Most of the venous blood from liver is drained by the three large hepatic vein. Left hepatic vein between medial and lateral segment of the left true lobe. Middle hepatic vein between the right true right and left true lobe. Right hepatic vein between anterior and posterior segment of the right true lobe. Now we can move and discuss about nerve supply. The liver is supplied by both sympathetic and parasympathetic fiber. The sympathetic fiber are derived from the colic plexus. The parasympathetic fiber are derived from the hepatic branch of the anterior vagal trunk. We already discussed about stomach. No, we want to move and discuss about factor keeping the liver in position. Hepatic veins connecting the liver to the inferior vena cava. Intra-abdominal pressure maintained by the tone of the abdominal muscle. Peritoneal ligaments connecting the liver to the abdominal wall. Now we can move and see clinical correlation. Cirrhosis of the liver. The hepatocytes sometimes may undergo necrosis following their injury and death caused by the infection, toxin, alcohol, and poison. The dead hepatocytes are replaced by fibrous tissue by the proliferation of the perilobular connective tissue. The resultant hepatic fibrosis is clinically termed cirrhosis of the liver. Patient develop jaundice due to the obstruction of the bile flow. No, we want to move and see next slide. This is a needle biopsy of the liver. We can see in this diagram also, but in needle biopsy of the liver, the needle is inserted in the mid axillary line through 9th or 10th intercostal space, Needle passes through the chest wall or costodiaphragmatic recess of the pleura, diaphragm and right anterior interperitoneal space to the enter the liver. Needle inserted above the eighth intercostal space which injure the lung. Now we can see in this diagram we represent the how pass through mid axillary line 9 to 10th intercostal space, and it's called the biopsy. Now we can thank you for everyone for listening my video. Thank you once again.